It happened. Troy Wagner released Alex Kralie in the real world. Yep. I am in the Patreon, so I did get first exclusive look on it. Spoilers in case you guys haven't watched it or anything like that. Now, to keep this known, this is an AU that they created themselves. This is an alternative universe where the things that happened while recording Marble Hornets didn't happen, implying that Alex Kralie's Marble Hornets was already shot. Tim, Brian went on their own paths, and Jay and Alex just continued to be friends with each other outside of college and high school and decided to do their own thing. It starts out like this, which is in the iconic Marble Hornets, layout. So I do think this is a cool part. We're going back to the hotel type stuff that happened with Jay. We don't know any more about this text right here. We don't know who was in the hotel room, who it belonged to, or whose laptop it was. But it is implied that it's maybe Jay or Alex's, considering that they, did make the series. Starts off like Marble Hornets did itself, kind of the parallel universes of Road. This is over here in the corner of the video. I don't know what this means. This is up to y'all's interpretations. It's got the same intro to the trailer that everybody watched, I hope. Starts off with Big Dog in a cemetery. Don't know why. Jay has taken on the role of the assistant, and we can see that they're in Rosswood, Alabama. So this is episode 8. We do not know where 1 through 7 is. This is just part 1. In this episode, they're going over the urban legends of Rosswood, Alabama, which is where they grew up. Now here's a cool thing I noticed. This backdrop right here is the antique store. So the next few scenes is Alex talking about the hospital. We get a couple camera pans of Rosswood's hospital. While he's talking about the hospital, we pan to this right here. Glitch, which we obviously know the operator is nearby or is doing his little magical stuff. So as Alex is talking about how they shot a few scenes in the Rosswood hospital, Jay mentions this, Alex Kralie's Marble Hornets. Yet again, we already know that Alex Kralie's Marble Hornets was not affected by the operator in any sort of way and continued on with its film. So maybe this is a far stretch, but I'm just doing me. The whole story behind Alex Kralie's Marble Hornets was that a guy, after he graduated college, came back to his hometown and everything was different. We already know that Alex and Jay have already graduated college a few years back. So they're coming back to their hometown to do episodes? Kind of sketchy if you ask me. So we get a couple of Alex Kralie and Brian shots from the Marble Hornets that Alex was making. So this is the best part that everybody noticed. Jody Locke. She's a local folklorist that Alex and Jay happened to get in contact with. Now, Locke is the same last name as Jessica Locke. A lot of people are theorizing that it's her sister or a relative, or that she's just an AU Jessica. So she goes on to talk about the Rosswood Hospital. The Rosswood Hospital was established in the spring of 1952, which was kind of a long time ago, you guys. I'm joking. She goes on to explain that there was 2 parts of the Rosswood Hospital. One part was housing, where the patients stayed, and the other part was the treatment facility. The main focus of the hospital was treating mental health disorders. Their treatments consisted of shock therapy and even lobotomies. She goes on to say that most of the documents from Rosswood Hospital are redacted or sealed, which is what clearly happened to Tim's hospital records. They were completely redacted when Jay found them. This guy decided to then go on about slasher films, and she was like, no, what? He too obsessed with his film making skills. She then decided to say that urban legends have some truths to them. She then said that she heard about a few escapes from the heyday to the early closure of Rosswood. So Alex asked, when they would run away, the police would just, round them up and put them back in. She then talked about some genuine disappearances that happened with some of the patients that escaped. She then went on to tell him a story about a boy who ran away from his treatment in 1998, and the boy was never found. Tim's admission was in 1995, which we obviously know that Tim ran away from his treatment. So the story is obviously about him, even though there was no name mentioned. She told Alex that with storytelling, it's like a big game of telephone. Somebody gets told something, and then the truth gets expanded, and we don't really know what the honest truth was anymore. So he then decides that he's going to go around Rosswood and ask people about the urban legends and spooky stories they have heard about Rosswood. The next few seconds is just a few cool shots and, him drinking. And then his idea gets shut down immediately because he realizes it's spring break. Then he meets this guy, Brendan. Excuse my pronunciation. He then said Marie Laveau cursed the entirety of Rosswood. Alex then said she was petitioned from beyond the grave, like she's already dead. He then asked what kind of curse did she put on Rosswood, and he shrugs. We then flip to this drunk guy who kind of looks like a off-brand blonde Tim Sutton. He then went on this incel rant about how he never talked to girls and his brother was like a go-getter for women and stuff like that. He then said that him and his brother were both seniors in high school, yet his brother was only a year or two, ages ahead of him. Alex asked if he was held back a year, and then he gets this devious look from the blonde guy. He then went on to say how his brother was talking to these 2 sophomore girls and stuff like that. So his brother asked the 2 girls if they want to go out to the woods with him, and the girls are like, yeah, sure. And his brother is like, oh yeah, I'll go along too. So they're out in the woods having a good time, doing some substances. He said in his story that he felt sick, so he lied down and possibly either passed out or took a nap. He then gets woken up by the 2 girls that are shaking him, telling him to wake up. Then they proceed to tell him, it took him, repeatedly. He then talks about how the girls brought him to a tunnel. It is implied that this was the tunnel that the girls took him to. The same tunnel where Alex ended Chris's life. He then says that the girls told him it dragged him in there. Alex asks him, is there a tunnel at Rosswood Hospital? And the other guy's like, no, there's no tunnel at Rosswood Hospital. He then says he's never seen this tunnel at all before. He then explains that he turns around and both of the girls are on the ground seizing, which is what we can see in entry 61 that happens to Tim. He runs into the tunnel, calling his brother's name, saying, where are you? Where are you? And then he says he hears something say, here I am. There is an audible glitch and a noticeable glitch while he says, here I am. He then stutters and breathes heavily and says, I was so beautiful. He then says, I ran. I had to. While Jody is calling him a cab, he says he never saw his brother again. Alex asks what happened to the girls. He says they woke up, they were kind of like me, I was sick, I forgot everything. By the time they got to the car, they didn't know who he was, they didn't know who his brother was. Alex then coughs, which is another sign of the operator's sickness. It then clips to him waddling away in his drunkenness into the street. Alex asks her if it's true, and she's like, I think it's time for you to talk now. He then says all 3 of them are going to go spend the night at the Rosswood Hospital and experience their own ghost encounters. He then says part 2 is coming out tomorrow. And then we get to the credits placeholder. This is all I got so far. If any of you guys want to share me your theories or show me anything that stood out to you, please comment below.